Good afternoon. It is August 4th, 2021. And today, really we had a range day, but what happened was we had this range in the overnight, and then we hit a perfect measured move here. Formed some congestion, went back and forth in between there and the overnight lows. We had a breakout here that failed. Failed breakout here, which I meant to mark that as aggressive. And then a breakout, a larger breakout here that fails too. A lot of measured moves here, so I'll try and delete them as I go. So this is the measured move of the overnight range, and it hits down here, forms some congestion. But then we have this leg down here, and we make a perfect measured move here. We go a little, like a tick further, and we hit that, and that's when we bounce here. So I'm going to leave this one up for context because I want to talk about this trade right here by using this measured leg up. And I don't really know if we need this. I'll keep that on until we get there. Maybe we don't need it. But yeah, there were some pretty good entries here today. You really had to be patient and play around with your trend lines to find the entries. But I think if you did that and you stuck with the short-term trends, you should have been pretty good. So we formed that overnight range, which is the yellow lines, and we were trending down, I think, starting at like 4 a.m. And you get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. And I think that's right at 5 a.m. I wasn't in here at that time, but I do like that. It's an engulfing bar near the EMA, and it looks like that trend line would have worked off these lows. Let's see. Would have had it drawn like that. So you'd probably want to go short below that bar right there. Maybe drop in limit order. You would have got filled. So yeah. First entry, failed second entry long here. It's aggressive because it's far from the EMA, and it looks like we got a little bit of a break. But that ends up working. And here, the trend loses momentum and forms some congestion at that perfect measured leg down. So I'll show you again. You see that right there. We hit it and we form some congestion. So we have that strong move down, and then we get a first. So this is a double bottom, so the count resets. First entry, second entry off the EMA, going short. I do like that entry. And then the way I saw this was I was getting a little confused here and just wondering what was going on. And I drew this trend channel off these highs. So I don't see anything in between this trade and right here that you would want to enter. Maybe this one, first entry. That's actually a third entry though. Look how congested this is. You can't enter. I don't think you should enter in any of this. We don't know. This thing could go lower. But then we get some rejection and make a leg up, and you get a first entry, second entry. If you drew this, so you probably would have had it drawn like that. If you drew off these highs and then drag it down here, this also looks like a higher low off the trend line. So that's another reason I like that. It is slightly congested though. First entry, second entry. And then you get a first entry, failed second entry short right here. So you'd have to go long above that bar. And that does end up working. I like that because you got room to the highs, and we just bounced off the lows, so we're trying to make it back up to those highs. and then we get some congestion up at the overnight lows. So that's, I was looking at that as one leg of correction from this downtrend. Okay, and then we go first entry, second entry. I went long above this bar. There's a few things wrong with this. I would say the first thing is this congestion. This is clear. Look at all those bars. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars here. We get out of that congestive area, pull back, and that's right in the middle of that congestive area. So congestive, and we just came off the highs of this trend channel. I think I had a moment of thinking that this trend channel wouldn't be valid anymore, but if it just bounced off these highs, we should expect it to come down to the lows, and that's exactly what happened. So just a mental error there. I went long, got trapped. So I think maybe you can go short here, because this isn't like a strong uptrend. So I think you can probably go short beneath this bar. This is a second entry, right? So this is kind of like, this looks like a double top. So at that point, first entry, second entry. Only problem here is it's it's a doji. I think if that was a good signal bar, I'd probably mark that as blue. But the trend does fail after that. And you know what? Maybe I should have kept this as aggressive even if it was a good signal bar. Because look, we got a overshoot of that channel right here. So, but anyway, we got an overshoot of this downward channel, and that leads to a break. It's only a slight break, but a break and a big leg down. And I think, oh no, that's not. This measured move here, I think was hit right here. Yeah, it was. Okay. So after this, if you spot it, and this is why I wanted to keep this measured leg up. So we got this measured move of correction, but then we make this big leg down. Once we start making this leg up again, if you see that this is a perfect measured leg, that's a second entry short. And it's a lower high off this trend line. So I think if you see all that, you have to take that entry, and that would be a really good entry that you could probably get a few points off of. And this midline is working, so you get a second entry off that. The reason I marked that is because this is this is like a, here, show measured moves. Look, that's the measured move of the overnight range. This is like a failed breakout. We failed once right here, come back, fail again. It's a second entry long. The bias is down, so I marked this as aggressive. We also are making lower highs. But then first entry, second entry off that trend line again. So yeah, take that. I don't think you can enter in here, but this does hit this measured move. So first entry. This is a failed second entry long. It's far from the EMA. It's going into this trend line, so I don't like that really. But you might have, and you know what? You could look at it as, I'm going to actually mark that as aggressive because now I'm seeing that that's like a failed breakout area there too. So, but anyways, we get after that we get a first entry, second entry long. I don't know. I don't think I would have seen this, but I think it is an entry, but I don't know. I think because we just had this pretty strong leg up, that's why we can expect a second leg up, and we end up making a perfect measured move. So that's a really good entry. That would have gotten, that'd probably be the trade of the day right there. 97.75. So that's a 5-point runner. Anyway, we get this looks like a second entry. It looks like here it tried to go lower. First entry, down, second entry. But that's congestive, so it's definitely aggressive. It's far from the EMA too, but I do like that there's room to the highs and room to the overnight lows. But then this trend loses steam, and we get a second entry short. First entry, second entry short. After we touch those overnight highs, lows, and get that steep rejection. So again, you're expecting a second leg down, and that's what we get. And after this bar, I closed my laptop, so I don't know if this data is accurate, so I'm not going to talk about that. Well, let's take a look at the trades I took today. Took 3 trades, so I'm okay with that. I like that. Not too many. And I took that second entry short right here. I forgot to mention in the analysis, another reason I like this is because it's like a failed breakout of this congestion. So we break down into this congestion in a downtrend, so the bias is down, and we get a first entry, second entry right at that top of congestion. So I do like that. And you can see if you draw the measured move, where this price bounced is right at that measured move. So, okay, here. So I went long here. I don't like this. There's clearly congestion, and it's at the overnight lows. So to go long into that is silly. Expecting a second entry long. I already talked about this, but this is congestive, and we're at the overnight lows. What else? Oh yeah, we're going long into this trend line, which was pretty clearly valid. So trust your trend lines. And then here, this second entry short, I like this. We get this big leg down. First entry, second entry at the EMA, so I do like that. And that's all I took today. So overall, I think it was a good day. I didn't take too many trades. I'll be back tomorrow.